Hi, and welcome back to This vs. That, the show where we match up certain topics and things like movies, sports, and cultural events and decide which one is the best. I'm Maddie Bristow, and I'm here along with Charlotte Powell and Andrew Holland. As we head towards the end of the year, this week we're breaking down the pros and cons of the last 3 months of the year, October, November, and December, and deciding which is the reigning champion.
So, as Maddie said, this week, October, November, or December? That is the question. So I think what we should do is we should go over each month and do the pros and the cons. I think we should start with October since October is first chronologically. So October, what do you have? You have changing colors. The leaves go from green to beautiful orange, red, and yellow. You have Halloween, which is that a good holiday or is it a bad holiday? We'll discuss that. And you also have some cons like midterms, a temperature decrease. So, what do we think about October?
Well, on the topic of Halloween, personally, I'm not a big fan of Halloween. I feel like it was a lot bigger of a holiday when we were kids. Like I lived in a condo complex where like you go around to everybody's house with your friends and it's a really fun and like kind of big deal. And then I feel like as you get older, like in middle school and high school, that stops for trick-or-treating, that stops being something that you're sort of allowed to do. And plus for this year with COVID, Halloween is a little bit different. Like you're not really supposed to get together in large groups. So that's kind of maybe makes Halloween not so much of a pro in terms of this.
Yeah, I definitely agree. For me, the last year that was like acceptable for trick-or-treating was when Hurricane Sandy hit the East Coast. So Halloween was like canceled and then it was moved, pretty similar to like what's happening now. So that kind of like ruined Halloween for me, and I've been over it. But on the subject of midterms, for me, October is awful because of midterms. I always have professors who think like they're doing the nice thing by like scheduling midterms either before or after like the designated week, so it stretches it into a month, and like that's just so frustrating to have something due every week. So October's a no for me.
Wait, I want to go back. Charlotte, you said what age was the year to stop trick-or-treating?
Well, for me, it was around maybe like, I don't know, maybe like 13. I feel like my
13
friends
is
and I
so
went out and
young.
got some weird looks
But
from
13 is
the
so
parents
young.
handing out candy. I don't know.
I don't, 13 is, that's what, sixth or seventh grade, right?
Yeah, around then.
But hold on. Okay, I just think 13, you're still a little kid.
I know, I
I
thought so too, but
um I think once you get like in your adult years, it's kind of creepy to
yeah,
go
definitely.
probably not the best look in the world. Um so yeah, we disagree on that, but I agree. October, it's a good month. There are definitely some cons to it. But what about November? Now, November, it gets a little cold. I think November is the month where, the winter jackets officially come out. October, you're kind of dancing with the idea of bringing out the winter jacket. But November, it gets cold. We have Thanksgiving, though, which is a great holiday, in my opinion. And also, I feel like school starts to heat up a little bit. I don't know about you guys.
I definitely agree with that. So by November, I feel like everyone has their pace, like they know what's going on in class. But then all of a sudden, everything switches with it Thanksgiving break coming up, and every professor is just trying to get everything done before that break. So it starts to pick up the pace, and it gets really overwhelming, especially when you come back from Thanksgiving break and you dive right into finals. So November goes by quick, but it's really overwhelming.
It definitely goes by quick. I would agree with that. Charlotte, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, I agree with Maddie. Usually, you get into sort of a groove in terms of school around time November. Like we've been in school for a couple months, we kind of know what's happening. I feel like for me, for this specific time with COVID and being home and doing remote learning, I haven't gotten into that groove. If anything, I've fallen out of any sort of groove that I made previously, but we're working with
Is
it.
that November's fault or COVID's fault?
Um, that's a good point. Maybe it's maybe it's COVID's fault and also my fault,
I don't think
but it just happens to coincide with November.
I don't think
Um,
the lack of motivation comes in November during a regular school year. Maybe
mhm.
I would say, I don't know, maybe I'm wrong. Who knows? But I think COVID in general just causes a lack of motivation, not the month of November. But what about Thanksgiving? Personally, I love Thanksgiving. That's just because of my family's traditions. We like to go to Vermont, we go on a hike where you meet up with family friends. I don't know how that'll work out this year, considering the social distancing, but I love Thanksgiving a lot. I think it's a great holiday.
I really like Thanksgiving too. It's kind of like, I don't know, maybe like a pre-Christmas without the gifts. It's sort of the same idea. You get together with family and you have dinner and you just spend a lot of time together. Like you said, it's COVID, so maybe there will be smaller groups of family. It's not technically safe. But still, I think that Thanksgiving is still like it's a nice holiday and definitely a pro for November.
Yeah, I would definitely agree. So, November, better or worse than October?
I think it's slightly better because you're more into like more towards the end of the year. Um,
Mhm.
yeah, slightly better for me.
Also, one more thing. Do you think Christmas music is appropriate in the month of November? I have a strong feeling about this. Absolutely not.
Yes, it is, especially now. I think people need, if you love Christmas music, I think you should start listening to it whenever you want,
I do, but
especially.
it's special for the Christmas season, and that's not in November.
I think we need to extend it this year. I think it needs to start in November.
I do.
Yeah, maybe there are special circumstances.
Okay, well, maybe I'm outnumbered. I'll never change my opinion on that, no matter what anyone says. So, just to remind you, for those tuning in now, this is This versus That, the show where we pit topics and memes and themes against each other and decide which is best. I'm Andrew Holland, and I'm joined by Maddie Bristow and Charlotte Powell. This week, it's month versus month versus month, with October, November, and December battling it out. We've already gone over October and November. Now, December. December is, I know we're not supposed to vote now, but there's nothing anyone can say to undermine December. I think it is an amazing month. I think the Christmas season is by far the best time of year. Now I know we have finals and all that, which can be very stressful, but I definitely think that the joy of Christmas outweighs the stress of finals. Maybe I'm alone in that, but I don't know. And the other holidays, of course, too.
No, I definitely agree. Christmas is my favorite holiday. I feel like, I don't know, it's just kind of like a magical time, like with the music and like the stories and like the reruns that they show on TV, like those like claymation like Rudolph and like all those weird kind of
Year
weird
Without
movies,
Santa
but
Claus.
yeah, they're like
All those.
classics,
I could go on forever, but we definitely run out of time.
yeah. And just like the season sort of like I'm a big skier. My family and I go skiing. It's kind of like a bonding thing that is really special to us. A couple years ago, um, I spent Christmas in Vermont with my family, and it was like a skiing plus Christmas thing, and it was just really special. And like there are a lot of good memories tied with this time of year. So for me, that is sort of what makes December especially special.
Yeah, I definitely agree. I think December is one of the most hopeful times of the year because you have the end of the year coming, you have the accomplishment of finishing a whole year, and you just get to look forward to the next one coming. So my vote's for December.
My vote's for December. Charlotte,
My vote is also for December.
there you
Surprise,
go.
surprise.
Unanimous decision.
All right, and that will do us for this week. This has been Maddie, Andrew, and Charlotte. Thank you so much for tuning in to This versus That and hearing our pick for the best month, which we have unanimously decided is December. We will see you guys next week.